Hey everyone, how's it going? At long last, Dead Space is getting a new game. A remake of the original Dead Space was confirmed at the EA Play event last week. The first two Dead Space games are two of the best video games ever made, even outside the survival horror genre, and the first is being brought back from the dead by EA Motive, the studio behind Star War Squadrons and... well, we don't talk about the other one. Just to be clear, this video is not going to be talking about my thoughts on a Dead Space remake or what I would want in the game. I've already made that exact video and you can watch that by clicking the link in the description or at the top right hand corner of the screen. This video is just breaking down what was shown in the reveal trailer, what was said by EA at the event, and interviews about the game. And I'll give my thoughts on all of that, so let's get started. We were all fairly certain that Dead Space was going to be shown in this year's EA Play, but the trailer was still a shock to see, despite it not showing all that much. In the 1 minute they had with this trailer, we got to see some of the incredible graphics this game is packing. Keep in mind, this isn't even the final product, so it is going to look even better when it releases. The art style was also very much in line with the original games, which as a lifelong Halo fan is great to see. But what really stands out to me is the sound design. The sound in the original Dead Space is unmatched to this day, and this does a perfect job of recapturing that atmosphere. It's all incredibly sparse, metallic, and quiet. They even brought back the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star from the original trailers, which just hit me right over the head with a wave of nostalgia. We even get to see a necromorph and Isaac's suit for a brief second before it cuts to a wide shot of the Ishimura in space as the redesigned logo comes on screen. The trailer looks great, but it doesn't give us a whole lot of info on the game. We got most of the info in an interview conducted by IGN with senior producer Philip Ducharme and creative director Roman Campos Oriella. Since the trailer didn't reveal anything, all of the information we know about the game comes from this article, so I highly recommend reading it for yourself. A link is in the description. In that interview, they described the remake as more than just an upscaled HD remaster. They're rebuilding the game from the ground up, faithfully recreating the gameplay, storyline, and atmosphere, while at the same time introducing some new additions when appropriate. The direction sounds very much in line with the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes from a few years ago. Those remakes did end up changing a number of things about the game, and with great success, but with Dead Space, I would prefer less change over more. The original Dead Space is one of my favorite video games of all time, and there's not many changes I would want to be made for the gameplay. The storyline is a slightly different story. While the storyline is mostly flawless, I could suggest a few changes. The interactions between Isaac and Nicole are perfect, and the rest of the cast is excellently portrayed. However, I've always disliked the interactions between Hammond and Kendra. Their constant arguing throughout the entire game got exhausting pretty quickly, and we never got a great reason to care about either of them, which makes Hammond's death and Kendra's double cross less impactful than they otherwise could have been. The developers only let on that they were adding subtle references to future events in the storyline and extended universe, but I would love to see this aspect of the storyline improve. Going back to the gameplay for a second, the developers confirmed that Dismemberments are going to return and they're going to be even more violent than before. Something that I was a little worried about when I heard Dead Space was getting remade was that they would tone down the violence and gore. It's pretty clear that EA is doing this due to the success of the Resident Evil franchise, and one of the biggest complaints some people have about Resident Evil 7 was that the violence was just a bit too much. I was worried that EA would see that and preemptively tone down the violence, but thankfully they aren't just keeping Dismemberments in the game, but they're doubling down on them. And it's a good thing too. Dead Space wouldn't be Dead Space without Dismemberments. It's, kind of the entire combat system. But by far, the most important piece of info we got from that interview was the confirmation from senior producer Philip Ducharme himself that microtransactions won't be in the game. Quote, "We are also learning from mistakes such as microtransactions, which we will not have, for instance, in our game." Philip, I could kiss you right now. This is, you know what, I don't even need to explain why this is good. We all know microtransactions suck. Just leave it at that. Actually, no. The only thing I'll say is that I'll believe it when I see it. We better not have microtransactions at launch or have them introduced post-launch. I was going to be fine with small little cosmetic things to make Isaac's suit look a little bit different, but the standard has been raised now. You've said we're not getting microtransactions, so we better not get any. Now, as far as any release info goes, we don't have very much to go on. You can see in the trailer as well as the IGN interview that the game is only being released on next-gen consoles as well as PC. I'm a little worried that the game will be ready to release and the next generation consoles will still be impossibly hard to find, but it's hard to complain about this until we know a release date. Next-gen consoles could become readily available in a couple of months for all we know, and it could be a good decision or a bad one, and we won't know until we're closer to release. Speaking of which, we have no idea when this game will be released. We don't even have a general release window. They just announced that it was happening. A lot of the speculation currently is pointing to a 2023 release date. That would be the 15th anniversary of the original game and would hopefully give everyone time to get their hands on a next-gen console. But to draw another comparison to Resident Evil, Capcom announced the Resident Evil 2 remake was happening in 2015 and it didn't release until early 2019. 4 years is a long time to wait for a Dead Space remake you know is coming, and I would wait that long if that's how long it took to get it right, but boy does that sound painful. So that's everything we know about the Dead Space remake so far. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated with new information as it comes out. Like I said at the beginning, Dead Space is one of my favorite games of all time, so I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this one. Let me know what you think of the Dead Space remake so far in the comments below. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.